Hello, Lacrosse fans. Welcome to Queen's Park Arena, where we have just had a stirring rendition of the national anthem by Russell Potter. Bud Groves with Dave Edmonds and Fred Olson bringing you the Canadian Senior A Championship Lacrosse Finals. It's Mann Cup time. Game 4 of a best-of-7 series. Western champion Salmon Bellies have won 3 in a row, and they're out to try to clinch this championship tonight. Dave, we've got a championship within a championship going here as number 13, Wayne Goss, has been hotter than a firecracker throughout the series.
Yes, Wayne's had a great series thus far, Bud, and he's shooting for 2 records. Certainly one record that he tied the other night, tying John Survey for the most Mann Cup assists. He can break that with 1 assist this evening. He's only 6 points away from tying Paul Parnell's all-time record for most Mann Cup points. Over to you, Bud, for the play-by-play.
Back to the action. Referee Jim Maitland, along with his partner Ron Crasato, facing off the ball, and Goss quickly controls the opening face-off, and Bellies start away. Steve Manning coming out of his own zone. Brampton Excelsiors in their white shirts. They're pressing. Hard shot and a save by Marook. Excelsior caught without his stick in there. Salmon Bellies hustling a loose ball. Lyle Robinson breaking in for a second good shot. Excelsior straight up the floor. Tom Fair right to the crease. Takes a hard wrap from Goss. Steve Manning. Salmon Bellies control. Quickly get a line change.
Interesting to note that Casey Cook, the Salmon Bellies coach, has started Reg Forster in goal tonight in place of Rod Bannister. We'll check and see if there is any injury problem. I don't think so. Just a chance, I think, to give young Reg Forster some playing time in this Mann Cup.
Bellies moving the ball alertly into the attacking zone. Rebound controlled. Dave Durante on the outside, and he scores! Durante, 20 feet outside the dotted line, mixing up his shots. The other night he was hitting the top corner. This time he put it in the bottom right-hand corner. Bellies break on top.
And Dave Durante scoring the first goal of this 4th game. 1 minute exactly gone in the period. And he's really got goaltender Barry Marook confused. As you mentioned, picking the top corners the last game, particularly on the power play. Tonight, putting that long shot with only 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Low to the glove side of Barry Marook. It's 1-0 New Westminster.
Bellies back to the attack. Hard shot, saved by Marook. Loose ball chased down by goaltender Marook, and he starts the outlet pass, starts his team away on offense. Just jogging over center, down the right-hand boards. Alertly picked up in there by Aventura. Pass intercepted by Tura. Bellies again get a line change. General manager and coach Casey Cook quickly getting all his players into the game. Paul Del Monte down the right-hand boards. Pass intercepted. Brampton Excelsiors breaking out. Tom Patrick driving hard right to the crease. Good save by Forrester. Excelsiors around the outside. Steve Mastine. Ken Archdeacon deep in the corner. Changed hands. Saved by Forster. Both goaltenders sharp in the early going, Dave.
Yeah, Reg Forster, considering he got a little bit of playing time in the second game, late in the second game, but really hasn't played an awful lot of lacrosse in the last month and a half or so, with Rod Bannister carrying most of the load. It's looked very sharp in a couple of shots, and Barry Marook once again playing very well in the Brampton nets.
Corey Carlisle driving hard out of his own end. Every time he's on the floor, he stirs up the action. Hard shot on the outside. Derek Dixon firing that hard overhand right-hand shot. Again, pick the bottom right-hand corner.
Derek Dixon, another ball player, having a great series for the Bellies. The other night scored his 100th career senior goal. This time he's added to it his 101st goal as a senior A player. 2 minutes, 30 seconds of the first period. And the Bellies, by the look of things, Bud, they like to wrap it up tonight because they're off hotter than firecrackers this evening.
Bellies have reversed roles in game number 3. The Excelsiors got away to a fast 4-0 lead. This time, quick goal. Number 99, Gord Lyons, breaking in off the face-off, taking that relay. And the Excelsiors are back in the act. Salmon Bellies leading 2-1, 17:23 remaining in the first period.
Only 7 seconds after the Salmon Bellies scored their second goal, Brampton come right back. And like any team, they do not want to go down 4 straight. Nobody likes to be humiliated, and losing a series 4 straight certainly is a form of humiliation. Brampton will not quit, I can assure you of that.
Bellies hustling hard on the face-offs. Lyle Robinson breaking in from his forward position to scoop that ball. John Kurgovich around the outside, saved by Marook. Brampton Excelsiors get a line change. Missing from the action tonight, veteran Steve Deesum of the Salmon Bellies out with a 1-game suspension. A very unfortunate third man in incident the other night, and Steve will sorely miss this game if it is the final game, as he's the heart of the Salmon Bellies. Bellies back to the action. Dave Durante driving hard. Hands off to Eric Collison. Collison down the left-hand side. Tall right-hand shooter. Salmon Bellies all working hard away from the ball. Collison hammered that one off the post right at the 32nd clock. Bellies chasing the ball down deep in their own end.
You know, Bud, you mentioned the loss of Steve Deesum, and of course he certainly would dearly hate to miss this if it does turn out to be the last game. But somebody else who may end up missing Deesum, and more than a lot of people would think, is Wayne Goss. We mentioned Wayne Goss shooting for those playoff records, and he works very, very well with Steve Deesum. Steve's setting blocks for him, getting the ball to him, and it'd be interesting to see how Wayne does without Steve Deesum out on the floor with him this evening.
Those two players always have the poise, Dave, and this is what comes through at Mann Cup time. It's the experience, and when the checking gets tight and the pressure starts to build up a bit, they're two of the guys that really get things going. But one other guy who's not a veteran, number 77, Corey Carlisle, he has started the stampede going with these Salmon Bellies night after night, and wherever he is, there's always action. He's been a real pleasant find for the Bellies the last 2 years.
He has been. Corey Carlisle came out of the Burnaby Junior B ranks a couple of years ago, and he's been, as you say, a tremendous find for the Bellies. Essentially a defensive player, but I think the tenacious checking that he's employed throughout this series in particular, he's getting an awful lot of scoring opportunities, and he's been capitalizing on them. He's been a tremendous asset for the Bellies.
Interference called against the Bellies. The ball goes over. White-shirted Brampton Excelsiors, the OLA champions, start away. They'll get a line change. Steve Mastine just jogging up the floor, waiting for his teammates to get out on the floor. Colin Patterson out there, along with Ken Archdeacon. Marty Cooper behind the goal. Tried to hit the man breaking in. 5 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Brampton Excelsiors decide to punt. Salmon Bellies start away. Rather than give up the ball in their own end, they just lob the ball deep into their attacking zone. Now the Bellies back to the attack. Derek Dixon driving hard. Terry Oyam up from the Salmon Belly Juniors, and he's played very well throughout the series. Number 99 is Barry Powless from the North Shore Indian team. He's getting into his first Mann Cup action. Rebound controlled by Marook. Quick outlet pass. Sensational play by goaltender Forster as he got caught out of the net.
And Reg Forster, a spectacular play. A little bit of luck involved, of course, but he got himself cut out of the net, lost possession of the ball momentarily, made a fantastic play on Pete Guerin. And Pete Guerin in the third game the other night was robbed a couple of times by Forster's teammate Roddy Bannister. Tonight it's Forster's turn to come up and make a great play on Pete Guerin.
Referee Jim Maitland making the call away from the play. Little roughing in there. Number 21, Steve Oyam, and 22, Marty Cooper. And Dave, this is great to see that both referees aren't concentrating on the ball. The one referee was following the ball. The other alertly picked up that little bit of roughing away from the play and sent them off for 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think tonight we have two Western Lacrosse Association referees who are used to working together. That could certainly help.
Good shot, right on. Saved by Forster's. Bellies control. Number 20, Kenny Sim. Starts Carlisle away. Carlisle just jogging around. Moves the ball back to Forster. Salmon Bellies get a line change. And number 13, Wayne Goss. Lyle Robinson breaking in, and Wayne Goss sets the new Mann Cup assist scoring record.
There it is, Bud. Kind of a fluky kind of a goal, but Goss's pass, he'll get the second assist on that goal. He set up Robinson, who dumped the ball in front to John Kirkovich. Wayne Goss's record-setting goal. He gets the ball, dumps it into the bench. A tremendous milestone for Wayne Goss, and now only 5 points away from that career record. Pardon me, Derek Dixon scoring the goal.
Dave, every time I see Wayne Goss out there, I'm reminded when he came up, he and Kenny Winsoski out there killing penalties. Just two super players, had fantastic junior Salmon Belly careers. Wayne Goss still going on to set this milestone record. Hard shot, right on, saved by Forrester. Interference, the Bellies will start away. Team still playing 5 men aside. John Kurgovich, Brampton Excelsiors, playing man-to-man defense. Dennis Lavoie, he's been a spark plug in this Mann Cup series for the Salmon Bellies. Kurgovich, holding the ball in one hand, tried the backhand shot. Good save by Maruk. Rebound controlled. Dave Maruk has not been throwing those pinpoint outlet passes, the fast break passes that he was throwing in the first 2 games.
Well, I think a lot of that, perhaps, Bud, is that the team really isn't fast breaking the way they were. Early in the series, they were breaking down the floor. Maruk could hit them with a pass. He's got the one long pass away today that Forrester came out and made a spectacular play on. But other than that, as you mentioned, he's not getting that long pass away.
Steve Mastine getting a shot, saved by Forrester. Bellies control the rebound. Dennis Lavoie, delay penalty on the back check coming up to Brampton Excelsiors. Salmon Bellies get the extra shooter out of there. They pull goaltender Reg Forrester. Penalized players back on the floor, and the play is whistled down by referee Ron Crusato. We've got the original call against Brampton. I think Crusato has picked up another infraction in there.
It looks like there could have been perhaps too many men on the floor. I'm not really sure. As you mentioned, Jim Maitland had called the original call against Brampton's number 3, Colin Patterson. We'll have to pick up the announcement on this second infraction. The penalty gate is open to the New Westminster penalty bench as we see referee Maitland. There we see Colin Patterson in the Brampton penalty bench. So I'm sure what's happened is that they had perhaps had too many men on the floor. Colin Patterson getting the cross-checking penalty. We'll pick up the Salmon Bellies penalty now. Yes, but it was a too many men on the floor penalty. The goaltender coming to the bench. They shot the extra man off the bench. And it's big John Kurkovich, number 5, going in to serve the penalty.
Lacrosse fans, please stay with us between periods as Fred Olson will have John Servey, former Vancouver Burrards player, with us for an interview between periods. And Wayne Goss has just broken John's all-time Mann Cup assist record. Back to the action. Bellies moving into the attack. Dennis Lavoie, he'll shoot from the outside. That shot was deflected. 10 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Eric Callison, pass intercepted. Excelsiors break out hard. Jim Weller trying to work in from the side. Bellies playing tenacious defense out there tonight, Dave.
They're giving Forrester a pretty easy time out. He's made a couple of good saves, but they're playing good, solid defense. Every shot that the Brampton players have got away has, they've had a Salmon Belly player draped all over them. Really good, close, hard-hitting defense.
Derek Dixon jogging into the attacking zone. Backhand pass. Hard shot in there by Kenny Sim. Bad angle. Goaltender Barry Maruk stood right up to it, took the ball high on his shoulder. Face off in the Brampton Excelsiors defensive zone. 11:39 remaining in the first period. Brampton Excelsiors 1, New Westminster Salmon Bellies 3. Period 1, game 4. Salmon Bellies are leading the series 3-1. Excelsiors control the face off. Salmon Bellies driving hard out of their own end. Corey Carlisle straight down the center. Beautiful goal! Corey Carlisle raced the length of the floor after grabbing that high rebound off the end boards and put the ball in the bottom right-hand corner.
And Bud, we talked earlier about Corey Carlisle. What a great asset he's been to the Salmon Bellies. A tenacious defensive player. Worked very hard in his own end. Picked up the loose ball. Came down, created the 3-on-2 break. Carried himself. Nobody came to him. He shot the ball. Maruk got a piece of it. Went under his left hand into the net, and it's a 4-1 Salmon Belly lead.
Dave, our youngsters can take a note from Corey Carlisle's notebook here, because he always puts pressure on the defense. Even when he's facing 1 or 2 defenders head on, he still makes things happen. That's because he constantly goes to the goal.
And also, like most of the Salmon Bellies now, Bud, they're playing with an awful lot of confidence. Playing with tremendous confidence. Salmon Bellies check that ball loose and start away in their own end.
Brampton picking them up man for man all over the floor. Wayne Goss now working out of his own end. Lyle Robinson, tall, rangy right-hander, working along with Jeff Gill, number 12, another player up from the North Shore Indians Senior B team. Hard shot, right on. Number 8, Steve Manning, driving out of that corner with power. It's goal number 5 for the Salmon Bellies.
And another player we mentioned earlier, Bud, and they're certainly making profits of us, the Salmon Bellies, as we see Steve Manning going back to the face-off circle. Another player generally known as a defensive ball player comes up with a big goal, low under the stick of Barry Marook, and with 10:38 remaining, it's now in New Westminster's lead 5-1.
This is Bud Groves along with Dave Evans bringing you Canadian Senior A Man Cup Lacrosse from New Westminster's Queen's Park Arena. Brampton Excelsiors. Colin Patterson moving the ball around the outside. Steve Mastine. Bob Burke. Twisting and turning around, a check from Manning. Burke right to the crease. Good save by Forster. Reg Forster got down low, blocked that shot. Brampton Excelsiors in their white shirts start in again. Hard shot on the outside, fired it off a helmet. That ball went off a Salmon Belly helmet, so the Excelsiors retain control. Reg Forster very fortunate on that shot, Dave, as he was almost handcuffed on the quick bounce shot from outside.
Had a bit of trouble with that long shot. We had a little bit of roughing away from the play. Steve Manning and Colin Patterson. Manning, though, has gone to the bench. Nothing will come of that. And this time it's Mark Tura.
Tura got in the crease as he moved in a little bit too close, put that ball in the short side. No goal. Excelsiors right back to the attack. Beautiful goal on the outside. Peter Guerin. We've always known him as a dangerous shooter. Peter Guerin puts one in the top left-hand corner. Goal number 2 for the Brampton Excelsiors.
And as I mentioned earlier, but this Brampton team is not going to quit. As I said, nobody wants to go down 4 straight. 5-2 now the score with 9:32 remaining. And a high-scoring game. I didn't really expect that high-scoring a game in this fourth game. I thought it'd be a little more tight checking, especially with the importance of the game, but it's turning into quite a shooter's fest so far.
Bellies back to the attack. Eric Callison. Dave Durante on the outside. Durante back chasing down that long rebound. Another 30 seconds on the shot clock. Marook controls and starts the Excelsiors away. Tom Fair. I'm sure number 99, Gord Lyons, will be having a little chat with Fair about that, throwing him a suicide pass with a defender right on him. Interference against the Salmon Bellies, and Excelsiors will put the ball into play deep in the left-hand corner. And number 7, Dave Pirog, got a twisted ankle in the melee down there, and he's hobbled off. Quickly replaced in there by Tommy Patrick. Excelsiors. Goal! Number 17, Derek Dick. Number 17, Jim Weller, moving right into the crease. Got that stick up high. Glanced the ball off goaltender Reg Forster, and the Brampton Excelsiors are right back in it.
5-3 the score now. Jimmy Weller, a little trouble with that loose ball in front of the net. Finally picked it up with one hand on the stick, dumped it over the left shoulder of goaltender Reg Forster. And it's a 5-3 game as we see Salmon Bellies' Derek Dixon discussing something with referee Ron Cruzado. I'm not sure exactly what he's discussing, but either way, it's a 5-3 game, Bud, and as you mentioned, Brampton Excelsiors right back in this thing.
Kenny Sim of the Salmon Bellies ready to face off with Barry Richardson. Referee Jim Midland moves in, ball in play. Sim controlled that face-off, right back to goaltender Forster. Forster, the outlet pass, back to Sim. Now to the attack. Paul Del Monte, just standing there waiting for the blocks, moves around the block at the dotted line. Good shot. Goaltender Barry Marook got his hand up on that shot. Interference against the Excelsiors. Salmon Bellies start again. Corey Carlisle! Driving hard down the center. Gave a big high motion with his elbow and his stick. Stiffened goaltender Barry Marook up and put it in the empty net.
And that fake by Corey Carlisle was probably a fake he didn't even know he had. Beautiful move. Marook went right across to his right side, leaving the whole gaping net. Corey Carlisle made no mistake. Put it away. 8-10 remaining. It's now a 6-3 Salmon Bellies game as the shootout continues.
Dave, the one thing we can expect in this type of a series is the unexpected. As you say, we were expecting a real tight defensive battle tonight, but the fans are the winners here tonight as they're getting their money's worth with end-to-end action. Interference against the Brampton Excelsiors, and Salmon Bellies start away to the attack again. Kenny Sim. Straight down the center. Paul Del Monte. Derek Dixon. He's an outside shooter from that side. He'll fire with 15 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Carlisle again! All alone! Driving in around his check. Took that sharp pass just outside the crease. And all in one motion put the ball up in the top left-hand corner.
And we said we expect the unexpected. The hat trick for Corey Carlisle, getting a tremendous ovation. You saw Wayne Goss patting him on the head as he went off. The hat trick in the first period for number 77, Corey Carlisle. A beautiful pass. Derek Dixon actually setting that up, drawing a man to him, dumping the pass off to Terry Horn. The pass quick in front to Carlisle, and he just first timed it into the net. And it's a 7-3 lead. And as I said before, I can't think of anything else to call this game but a shootout. 12-18, the time of Corey Carlisle's goal. And on that play, a penalty to the Brampton Excelsiors. New Westminster will have the power play as play resumes.
Pete Guerin, just a reflex action after the goal, kicked the ball into the crowd, and that's a no-no, of course. Pete didn't even, I don't think he probably didn't even mean to hit the ball, but anyway, he's over there for 2 minutes, and the Bellies have the advantage. They press their man back over center. Bellies take control. Alert defense in there by number 9, Ray Durante. And Bellies come to the attack. Number 10, Dave Durante, he'll set it up. The right-hand shooter is number 17, Derek Dixon. Number 13, Wayne Goss, the left-hand shooter. On the crease, Terry Oyam, John Kurgovich. Shot just wide. 12 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Dave Durante straight up the center. Now Goss. Right to the crease, and a beautiful goal. No, it was called in the crease as big John Kurgovich got caught leaning through the plane of the crease. Excelsior start away, bring the ball over center. Tom Patrick. Excelsiors have pulled their goaltender, and they'll play man for man out there as they've got 5 runners on the floor. Tom Patrick twisting and turning with the ball. Now Steve Mastine. Salmon Bellies will have a penalty coming as they get called for the slash. Corey Carlisle a little over-exuberant as he got a good two-handed chop in there. Now the teams will play all even.
And Corey Carlisle perhaps getting a little carried away with his newfound reputation as a goal scorer. Took a pretty good shot at Steve Mastine. Referee Ron Corsado let the first one go, but the second time he caught him right down above the glove. 46 seconds remaining in Pete Guerin's Brampton penalty. So after 42 seconds, of course, Brampton will have the power play. 6:28 remaining in the period. They'll have a chance to get back in the game. Teams will play at 5 aside until such time as that Brampton penalty's up.
Face off in the Salmon Belly defensive zone. Race for the ball. Mark Tura in there fighting with Jim Lockhurst. Salmon Bellies control, breaking out hard. It's saved by Marook. Number 16, Ivan Tura, went in there like a rocket. Excelsiors into the attacking zone. Bobby Burke firing just wide. Loose ball controlled by Reg Forster, and Bellies back to the attack.
Nice to see Ivan Tura back. This is actually his first action in Mann Cup play. Number 16 for the Bellies. He's had out virtually the whole season with an injury. He's back getting some Mann Cup action. I talked to Coach Casey Cook before the game. He promised Ivan Tura some action, and he's getting tonight, and he set up Dave Durante for a nice chance.
Excelsiors with the odd man play, tried to get that quick pass to the man coming off the penalty box, but goaltender Reg Forster very alertly out of his net to cut that off. Back to the attack, Steve Mastine with the ball. Looking for Terry Sanderson. Colin Patterson cradling the ball in the corner, retains control behind the goal. Excelsiors with the odd man, Terry Sanderson. Rebound controlled in there alertly by Paul Del Monte. Salmon Bellies throw the ball into the crowd, and Brampton Excelsiors get another crack at the odd man play. Bob Burke, along with Steve Mastine, Terry Sanderson. Salmon Bellies hustle that loose ball. Ray Durante. Lot of hustle, Mark Tura. Now the team's all even. Tura, shot on the outside, just wide. Rebound chased down by Kenny Sim. Another shot high. One of those shots had to deflect off something in there, Dave, as they got another 30-second count on the clock.
Yeah, I think Maruk got a little piece of that, so it looked like it maybe hit his stick.
Backhand shot right on. Maruk racing out towards center. Tom Fair. Salmon Bellies trying to trap Maruk out of his crease. He's a pretty alert stick handler and quick on his feet when he's up that floor. Jim Weller. Weller breaks in all alone and tried to beat goaltender Forster on the short side, but he didn't give him anything. Salmon Bellies start away. 3:25 remaining in the first period. 7-3, Salmon Bellies leading the OLA champion Brampton Excelsiors. Kenny Sim. Now Paul Del Monte. Derek Dixon. Backhand pass into the crease. Number 99 is Barry Paulus, and the ball goes over. Excelsiors start away. Gordy Lyons. Bob Burke, delayed penalty. Terry Oyam got the stick up high. Brampton get the extra shooter out there, Peter Guerin. He's a shooter on the outside. They'll probably try to work the ball to him. Now he's moved into the crease. Guerin with the ball, round the outside. Steve Mastine. The ball goes over on the 30-second clock.
And Terry Oyam, as we see referee Ron Casado heading to the penalty bench. And I think with the score 7-3, only 2 minutes, 26 seconds remaining in the first period, it's very, very important that Brampton capitalize on this power play opportunity. They've got, for all intents and purposes, the rest of the first period with a man advantage, unless, of course, they score. It's very important that they score on this odd man advantage, Bud.
Dave, the goals were like bananas coming in bunches there for a while, but now it's leveled out for about 5 minutes. It's been very interesting, the pattern of play in the previous games, too. The scorers would go up and down and run wild for a period or period and a half, and then it would seem to level out for about 10 or 15 minutes. Salmon Bellies back to the attack. Steve Manning taking a rough ride in there from Tom Patrick. Manning along the head boards. The ball checked loose. Loose ball controlled by Maruk. Number 17, Jim Weller. He's the key shooter on this odd man play. They move him up on the crease now. Sanderson, backhand to Weller, around the outside. Sanderson, hard shot, right on. Sanderson, a pickup from the Orangeville Senior Championship team, and as you mentioned, the white and maroon Brampton Excelsiors pick up the odd man play goal. It's number 17, Jim Weller, picked up that loose ball and put it in the empty net.
And that'll be the easiest goal Jimmy Weller will get in this series. I think Reg Forster, anticipating the ball being knocked back into his own crease by one of his own players, kind of hopped out of the crease to avoid that call, got tied up in his own feet. Jimmy Weller picked up the loose ball quite easily, and now with 1 minute and 35 seconds remaining in the first period, now a 7-4 ball game, with Jimmy Weller getting his second consecutive goal for the Excelsiors.
Salmon Bellies, Wayne Goss facing off with Ken Archdeacon. Scramble for the ball, and Excelsior's breaking in there before the ball came out of the circle. Paulus right to the crease, and this time number 5, John Kurgovich, was very conscious of that crease, made sure that he had enough space, and he put that ball in the top right-hand corner.
Yeah, you're right, Bud. That's the second time that Kurgovich has put the ball in the net tonight. The first time, though, unfortunately, he was called for the crease infraction. As you see the score on your screen, 8-4 for the hometown Seven Bellies. 1:27 remaining, and that quick comeback goal certainly neutralizes the power play effort by Jimmy Weller. And it's going to be very difficult in the second period coming up for Brampton to get back into this thing. They're going to have to get something rolling very, very early.
Now Barry Richardson out there to face off against number 13, Wayne Goss. Bellies control. Forster. Jeff Gill straight up the center. A beautiful goal as the two North Shore Indian players, Gill and Paulus, combine, but Paulus just ghosting down the center. A beautiful move through a crowd, took that pass and put the ball in the top right-hand corner.
And you talked about the goals coming in bunches. We went for about 8.5 minutes without a goal. Now suddenly we've got 3 goals in the space of 32 seconds. Jimmy Weller scoring that power play goal for the Excelsiors at 18:15. John Kurgovich scoring at 8:33, and now Barry Paulus scoring from teammate Jeff Gill, the North Shore Indians, scoring at 18:47. It's 9-4.
Paulus shooting wide. Excelsior's on the fast break. Number 17, Jim Weller, in all alone. Fake and put the ball in the top corner. A beautiful goal, end-to-end play. Bellies missing at the Brampton end, and Brampton coming right back on the fast play and making no mistake.
And Jimmy Weller gets the pure hat trick. 3 consecutive goals for the Brampton Excelsiors. This time at 19:03, and the goals continue to come in bunches. 19:03. Who knows what the score could be by the end of this period, Bud.
57 seconds remaining in the first period. This is game 4 of your Canadian Senior A Mann Cup Championship Series. Bellies consistently controlling the face-offs, though they have to scramble for every one. They never come easy. Eric Callison straight up the center. Rest of his teammates just standing. Now they go to work. Dave Durante. Lavoie. Little give and go around the outside. Just failed to click at the crease. 22 seconds remaining. Excelsiors get a line change, and they come to the attack. Steve Mastine. Deep in the left-hand corner. Loose ball behind the goal. Chased down there by Reg Forster, and Bellies control. Number 9, Ray Durante starts away. Lavoie. And that's the end of the period with the New Westminster Salmon Bellies getting away to a fast start. Dave, maybe a quick wind-up, and then downstairs to Fred Olson.
Okay, Bud, we'll give you a quick rundown of the scoring, and there was an awful lot of scoring there. 14 goals in the first period. Dave Durante opened the scoring at the 1-minute mark for the Salmon Bellies. And then at 2:30, Derek Dixon scored his first of 2 goals. Brampton came back. Number 99, Gordy Lyons, scoring at 2:37. Then it was all the Bellies for a while. Corey Carlisle scoring his first of 3 goals at 8:39, and Steve Mann scoring at 9:22. Brampton came back with a goal by Pete Guerin at 10:28. And then at 11:50, Corey Carlisle, his second goal. And at 12:18, Corey Carlisle again, his third goal. Then we had, in between, we had a goal by Jim Weller, his first of 3. And then for the Bellies, John Kurgovich and Barry Paulus, and Jim Weller at 19:03, completing the scoring for Brampton. We'll go downstairs now to Fred Olson. He's got with him John Servey. John Servey held until this evening the record for most assists in the Mann Cup. Fred Olson will be talking to John now between the first and second periods. Fred, down to you.
Lacrosse fans, I have with me John Servey, the ex-member of the Vancouver Burrards, and John's played on a few Mann Cup winners. John, your comparison of this Brampton team against some of the teams you played against from the East.
Well, this young Brampton team, I feel right now, is just disillusioned. Unfortunately, they're just not up for it. They look like they're out of condition. And one of the things that's faced in this team, same as when we've had to go back east and play against the Eastern teams, is that they're away from home, and this makes quite a difference in any series. Unfortunately, right now, I just don't think they're running enough, that's all.
Well, John, that's obvious. It looks like this game is going to be over tonight. It looks like it's going to turn out to be a real shootout. And we've got one of the great lacrosse players out there, Wayne Goss, who's trying to break your old record and close in on Paul Parnell's record. Wayne is, there's no stopping him. He's just playing extremely well in these playoffs.
Well, if there is anyone that I would like to see breaking the record that I held, was Wayne Goss. He broke in the first period tonight, and I have to congratulate him. He's a fine, one of the greatest players. I'd put him in a category of Paul Parnell and Jack Beyond up there with the greatest.
Well, that's very nice to hear, because I'm sure that he's worked very hard over the years, and he's looking forward to wrapping up his career possibly tonight with a Mann Cup victory. And by the way it's going right now, I'm sure it's going to happen here at Queen's Park tonight, and I'd like to see him crack Paul Parnell's record as well.
Yes, I would like to see Wayne, if there was an individual who will hold both records, would be Wayne Goss breaking both Paul's and my record. Yes, a very fine player, and it's a great way for him to go out of lacrosse. It really is. He's a great athlete.
Okay, John, thanks for coming on and saying hello to the lacrosse fans.
Dave, it was great to see John Servey out on the floor talking to Fred Olson. You've had a chance to visit with him this summer while he's been building a pool in his backyard out in Vancouver, and he looks in good enough shape to don the guards and go back into action again.
Yeah, he does. John keeps himself in pretty good shape. Of course, he's still involved with the Vancouver Burrard Lacrosse Club in a executive capacity. Works with the executive more or less as an advisory in an advisory capacity now. But he's been involved with the Burrard since he retired in 1968.
Back to the action. There's been goals galore, and again, Salmon Bellies consistently controlling the face-offs. Number 12, Jeff Gill into the attacking zone, driving hard. Wayne Goss. Now Kurgovich straight up the center, shot right on and saved by Marook. Loose ball in the corner, scramble, two Bellies in there. Brampton sitting back a little bit, not hustling the loose balls. Rebound controlled off the end board. Jim Lockhurst starts away.
Steve, better come back in here.
Tom Fair. Bellies checking very aggressively. Dave Pirog straight up the center. Go ahead.
Just an interesting note, the shots on goal in that first period, indicative of the score. New Westminster outshot Brampton 24-15. Tremendous number of shots for one period. 24-15 the shots in favor of New Westminster.
Ball goes over in the 32nd clock as the Brampton Excelsiors took a wild shot out there, and it was blocked by a Salmon Belly as he took the shot on the side of the head. Number 22 now, Mark Tour into the attacking zone, walks right into the crease, shot just wide. Rebound into the crowd, and Excelsiors start away. The white-shirted Brampton Excelsiors, champions of the Ontario Lacrosse Association. Bellies to the attack. Excelsiors jogging back into their attacking zone. Tom Patrick rolling around a check from Lavoie. Hard shot, right on, saved by Forster. Number 9, Ray Durante, playing his role out there, an excellent defensive player. Brother Dave now, right into the attacking zone, at the dotted line, took a hard check. Delay penalty coming up.
I'm not sure, it looks like Danny Lavoie, but they're calling 14 Tom Patrick for cross-checking on Dave Durante. I personally would question that call. I thought it was a pretty good hit, but of course from referee Jim Maitland's view, he had a lot better view of the action than we did. Perhaps he did catch him from behind. Nevertheless, with 18:09 remaining in the second period, Westminster Salmon Bellies with a 4-goal lead will now have the power play for 2 minutes.
Referee Jim Maitland was a little hesitant on making the call on the first hit, but then when the Brampton player followed through with the second hit, he decided he better get into the action and make the call. Ball checked loose along the boards, but they retained the contact a little too long, and number 7, Dave Pirog, retains control for Brampton Excelsiors, playing a man short with goaltender Dennis Marook up in the attacking zone. Steve Mastine. Good pass, all alone in front. Forster making the save as Bellies playing a little loose in their own territory. Now the odd man play comes out. Their chasers have done the work. They've got the ball back. John Kurgovich deep in the corner. He'll be looking for Dave Durante. Durante's the starter. Derek Dixon to Durante. Round the outside. Oyam, Kurgovich. Quick goal, and Kurgovich gets goal number 2 from right at the edge of the crease.
And I think Wayne Goss will get another assist on that, getting him 4 points now within the all-time Mann Cup scoring record. And that'll be something we can certainly keep an eye on. But a nice tic-tac-toe play from Goss down to Oyam, across to Kurgovich, and he first timed it into the side of the net, to the stick side of Barry Marook. And as you see, 17-16 remaining in the second period. A 10-5 score now in favor of the Westminster Salmon Bellies.
Scramble at center. Brampton Excelsiors control the face-off. Just jogging back into the attacking zone. Steve Mastine. Goal as the pass from the outside went through the screen, eluded goaltender Reg Forster, and again the Brampton Excelsiors are right back in the action.
And that's twice, Bud, that they've got goals almost accidentally against Forster. That one, a pass from Mastine, hit the crossbar behind Reg Forster, bounced back, hit him perhaps in the back or on the back of the leg, spun back over the goal line. But nevertheless, 2:59, the time of the goal, and it's 10-6. And once again, the goals seem to be coming in bunches.
Excelsiors controlling 2 face-offs in a row now, back to the attack. Hard shot from the outside. Number 8, Ken Archdeacon, firing that ball high and wide. Corey Carlisle races out of his own end, driving straight up the center, moving hard, shifts to his right. Hard shot on the outside. Little pushing and scuffling between Carlisle. Number 18, Ken Archdeacon, swinging his stick. Referees get in there and separate them. We'll have a face-off in the Brampton Excelsior zone to get action going again.
And Kenny Archdeacon and Corey Carlisle, and Corey Carlisle, now doing what we more or less expect of him, getting into the tough stuff and the tough defensive action. And got into a bit of an altercation with Kenny Archdeacon. They'll likely both get minors for roughing or for slashing. We'll have to pick up the penalties for you, but I'm sure that's what the call will be. 16:38 remaining in the second period. Tempers flaring a bit. But once again, Bud, Corey Carlisle getting that loose ball in his own end, just took off up the floor, hell-bent for election, away he went, set up the play to Derek Dixon. Dixon got a good shot away, and Marook was tested on that long shot by Dixon.
Corey Carlisle makes things happen out there. This is New Westminster's Queen's Park Arena. Mann Cup action, Canadian Senior A Lacrosse Championships. Game 4, best-of-7 series. Salmon Bellies leading 3-0 on the series and leading 10-6 here in the second period. Excelsiors back to the attack. Sanderson, Terry Sanderson of the Sanderson brothers, number 5, moving into the attacking zone. Good pass, shot by Tom Patrick. Save in there by Forster. Bellies moving back in. Kenny Sim, shot on the outside, and he scored! Kenny Sim using number 5, Terry Sanderson, for the screen. Drove that ball in the bottom right-hand corner.
Nice play by Kenny Sim. As you mentioned, took the pass from Del Monte. Sort of stood a little bit of a stutter step in front of number 5, Terry Sanderson. Wound up, let that long shot away. Obviously, Barry Marook didn't get a look at it at all. He dropped to his knees, but the ball went in about waist high on his glove side. Incidentally, Bud, the penalties to Archdeacon and Corey Carlisle both received double minors, and 3:25 remaining now in those penalties. Both teams will play a man short for that 4-minute duration.
Good call in there, Ron Crossato and Jim Maitland staying right on top of this game. We're calling Sim, Terry Sim. Of course, it's Kenny. His mother will be getting after us as the Salmon Bellies come back to the attack. Down the right-hand side, number 8, Steve Manning, just jogging into the attacking zone. Lyle Robinson. Goss. Shot on the outside. He put it in! Wayne Goss hit the top left-hand corner with a beautiful overhand shot, inches inside the bar.
And Wayne Goss, as we mentioned earlier, as you see the score and you see a look at this big appreciative crowd here at Queen's Park Arena, and they're certainly appreciating the play of Wayne Goss. Wayne's had a brilliant series, and we mentioned earlier Dave Durante giving Marook all kinds of trouble, crossing him up. This time it was Wayne Goss giving a little shoulder fake and then putting that tremendous overhand shot. And Wayne Goss 1 point closer to that all-time scoring mark currently held by Paul Parnell.
Robinson, hard save by Marook. Number 4, Lyle Robinson, moving in quickly after Steve Manning fought for that ball. Wayne Goss just took a hard hit on the head away from the ball. Shook it off, back into the attack. Checked in there by Marty Cooper. In the crease. Wayne Goss just took a hard slash across the helmet away from the play by Cooper. Goss just dropped Cooper on the return up the floor. No call on the play. Ball into the crowd. Referee Jim Maitland was standing right beside Cooper as Goss just met him while he was rolling away with a cross check. We certainly hope he's not hurt. Second period action. Salmon Belly's leading 12-6.
And I wouldn't be surprised as we look at the Brampton trainer working over Marty Cooper. I wouldn't be surprised, perhaps, it looked maybe, I don't think Goss hit him up high. He hit him right across the chest or across the shoulder. But perhaps Marty Cooper, as he went back, could have jerked his head back. He's rubbing his chin, but I think perhaps maybe even his helmet may have slipped up and clipped him on the chin. We mentioned Wayne Goss, 3 points away now from the all-time scoring records. We have another good look at the crowd here, another big crowd here in Queen's Park Arena. But it's great to see the crowds back here in Queen's Park. Another big crowd here, the 4th consecutive night of a big full house in Queen's Park Arena.
Full house, as you say, Dave, and fans really getting their money's worth. Goals at either end, action galore, both teams going wide open offensively. Brampton Excelsiors control in their attacking zone. They're down 6 goals. 14:46 remaining in the second period. Sanderson. Shot blocked to the defense. Sanderson again. And he scores as he raced around the center and put the screen shot behind Forrester. Goal number 7. Brampton Excelsior certainly not giving up.
And once again, that screenshot, as you mentioned, Bud, Tommy Fair, big Tommy Fair, number 2. As you see the score on your screen, 12-7 now with 14:39 remaining. Using Tommy Fair as a screen, put a nice bounce shot, perhaps between the legs. Reg Forrester came out, lifted his stick off the floor momentarily, and the ball went between Forrester's legs into the net, and it's 12-7.
Terry Sanderson and brother Lindsay Sanderson up from the Orangeville Senior B team. They're the Canadian champions. They missed the first 2 games of this series, but they've certainly made their presence felt as they've got into the game. Salmon Belly's control. Eric Callison driving hard. Salmon Belly's taking rough checks all over the floor. Kept right onto the goal. Put that low hard shot in.
Beautiful move by Eric Callison, and we mentioned earlier in the series, but the amount of stick checking used by the Brampton team, perhaps because of the number of field lacrosse players, the field lacrosse influence, but an awful lot of stick checking, and there was a delayed penalty coming up, as a matter of fact, to a wraparound, but it was a little bit too late. Callison went around, and with an assist from Dave Durrani, it's 13-7, New Westminster Salmon Bellies.
Goaltending change. Goaltender Rod Bannister. No correction, Reg Forrester still in the nets. Salmon Belly's control in the attacking zone. Kenny Sim right at the crease. Rebound pulled down by number 2, Tom Fair. Belly's pressing aggressively, man-to-man all over the floor. The long pass up the floor. Gordy Lyons. Jim Weller. Shot wide. Stick deflected just as he got that shot away. Bob Burke on the outside. Breakaway. Terry Oyam. Length of the floor. All alone. Moves in on goaltender Marook. Marook just stood his ground. Following up, Paul Del Monte. Salmon Bellies retain control. Del Monte in the corner. He's checked in there by 21. Bobby Burke. Rough ride across in front of that crease. Salmon Bellies leading 13-7. Ball into the crowd, and the Brampton Excelsiors start away.
30 seconds remaining in those simultaneous penalties. Double minors to Corey Carlisle and to Kenny Archdeacon. And neither team giving up. They're both going all out on offense, taking every chance they can get. Perhaps not a coach's dream lacrosse-wise, but certainly a spectator's dream. Great offensive lacrosse.
22, Marty Cooper twisting and turning in the center, in a crowd. Shot from the outside, right on, saved by Forster. Number 99, Barry Powless. Powless taking a hard rap on the elbow. That ball knocked loose. Fast break. Peter Guerin racing out of his own end. Checked by Corey Carlisle just as he tried to get that shot away. Bellies to the attack. Wayne Goss moving into the attacking zone. All alone in front. Beautiful play as Goss set up Jeff Gill. Gill hammered it off the crossbar. Now Lyle Robinson, another shot. Salmon Bellies control. Kurgovich rolled off a check. Goss all alone. Saved by Marook as he got his toe on that shot. Belly's back to the attack. 25 seconds on the shot clock. Gill. Wayne Goss. Penalty called in there away from the play as Jim Maitland caught somebody with some extracurricular activity away from the action, and action it was, hot and heavy.
Action it was, and a tremendous shift by little Wayne Goss. You can bet he smells that record, and I'm sure he'll see an awful lot of floor time as Casey Cook using him for the face-offs, of course. There'll be a man short, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Wayne Goss out there killing that penalty. As soon as the Chasers get possession of the ball, I'm sure you'll see Goss out there. Steve Manning gone off for roughing, 11:43 remaining in the period, and Brampton now will have the power play for the next 2 minutes.
Wayne Goss going for that all-time Mann Cup scoring record, and in between periods, our interviewer Fred Olson will have a talk with the holder of that all-time scoring record, longtime Salmon Belly great Paul Parnell. So we'll be looking forward to that interview with Paul. Now the Excelsiors in their white shirts, back to the attack. Bobby Burke. Hard shot into the crowd. Ball goes over the Excelsiors. Steve Mastine right to the crease. Shot just wide. Excelsiors have their odd man play out there. Salmon Belly's control. Jim Weller pressing. Goaltender Rich Forster into the attacking zone. Being chased in the corner. Behind the net, Forster. Check from behind. Wayne Goss controls. Comes out in front of the net, pass in the other corner. Dave Durante, action all over the floor. Belly's control, Durante deep in the left-hand corner. Eric Cowison. Cowison being chased down. Number 3, Colin Patterson, intercept the pass, and the Excelsiors start away.
And I'm sure you heard the tremendous ovation for the full house here at Queen's Park Arena, the New Westminster Salmon Belly's penalty killers, and particularly for goaltender Reg Forster, as he ended up right up in the corner, flattened his face, but got the ball off to Wayne Goss in the corner and continued that penalty killing by the Bellies.
Ken Archdeacon in the corner. Steve Mastine. Bob Burke down on the end of that stick. Backhand shot to the crease. Just missed Ken Archdeacon. The ball goes over the 30-second clock. The outlet pass. Ray Durante protected himself in the clutch there. And a beautiful goal at the other end as number 17, Jim Weller, came back after the hard check by Barry Marook. Barry Marook was watching Durante as he ghosted up the floor, knocked the ball loose just as the pass came, and the Excelsiors quickly converted it into a goal.
As you say, but a beautiful play by goaltender Barry Marook. Came out, didn't charge, didn't interfere, played the ball, got a good hit on Ray Durante. Jimmy Weller picked up the loose ball, cruised in, put a nice low shot to the glove side of goaltender Reg Forster at 10:07. His 4th goal of the game. Jimmy Weller's 4th goal of this game. But really, as we said, it was Barry Marook. As we see the face-off at center, Dave Durante and Pete Guerin facing off at center. And the ball knocked out, picked up. This time it's Forster's turn.
Interference against the Bellies. Excelsior's control. Back in the attacking zone. Peter Guerin on the outside, and he'll fire that ball from anywhere on the floor. Gordy Lyons. Tom Fair. Beautiful goal! Jim Lockhart taking that 3-way pass right at the crease and alertly bouncing the ball behind goaltender Forrester, and Excelsior's fighting back with goal number 9.
Beautiful play, Bud, and perhaps the goal of the game as far as being set up as we see 9:28 remaining in the second period on your screen there. 13-9 the score now. This time Jimmy Lockhart's getting the goal, but beautifully set up by Gordy Lyons and by number 21, Bob Burke. As I think we will now have a goaltending change for the New Westminster Salmon Bellies as we look at Reg Forster heading off, and number 35, Rod Bannister, coming out onto the floor to take his 2-minute warm-up. And Bud, really a pretty good effort by young Reg Forster.
Terrific effort.
Salmon Bellies playing pretty loose defense with the big lead, and he came up with a few big saves and a couple of big offensive forays into the Brampton end.
Dave, obviously Casey Cook and his goaltenders have agreed to split the action. This has been the first stop after the halfway mark in the game. It's 9:28 remaining in the second period. And goaltender Rod Bannister, who has really been the backbone of this Salmon Belly club through the stretch and through the playoffs, back in there between the pipes, probably for the second half of this game.
You have a look at your screen now of Brampton goaltender Barry Murick along with their trainer, getting a bit of water, a bit of refreshment, and Barry Murick really has had a pretty good series. He hasn't looked as sharp tonight as he has in the past, but he's had a pretty good series. And back to Rod Bannister, as we see Rod taking his warm-up shots now from a few of his teammates. He hasn't really had an awful lot of work in this series, certainly not as much as Murick has had, but he's come up big when he's had to. In that third game, really didn't look that sharp in the first two periods, but in the third period when the Brampton club started coming back, he came up with a couple of sparkling saves, and he's been doing that for the whole series.
Dave, I don't question the strategy of putting Rod Bannister in the game, as he's an asset to the game at any time, but I question the strategy of Casey Cook, as you can see him on the screen, taking the time to stop the play and warm him up, because the Salmon Bellies have been running this Brampton Excelsior team hard for 40 minutes here, and the Excelsiors, I thought, were starting to show the strain. The legs were having a little problem, and again, in the first three games, Salmon Bellies really took control in the last 5 minutes or 10 minutes of each game, and this gives them a little breather, and you never know what happens when these players cool out.
That's a good point, but the Excelsiors have scored the last two goals, and at 10:07 and 10:32, and as you mentioned, they've got the momentum, but they don't have the legs, and this could give them the legs to go along with the momentum. New Westminster have, as you say, have been playing aggressively, both offensively and defensively, running all the time, and most importantly, using those very quick line changes, and they've certainly worn the Brampton team down. As you say, this could give them the rest they need.
Back to the action. Bud Groves along with Dave Evans and Fred Olson from Queen's Park Arena, New Westminster. It's the Canadian Senior A Canadian Lacrosse Championship Mann Cup Finals from Queen's Park Arena. Ken Sims shooting on the outside, drove that ball off a defenseman's leg. Salmon Bellies retain control. Paul Del Monte taking a rough ride along the boards. Lyle Robinson. Tom Fair is the other contestant in there as they take a couple of smacks at each other. Now they decided it's too hot. Let's have enough of that and go and sit in the penalty box. Rest of the players just back off. Referees for tonight's game, Ron Crasato and Jim Maitland of the Western Lacrosse Association, march them into the penalty box, and the teams will be playing a man short. I'm sure they'll each have major penalties out of that effort, Dave.
I'm sure they will, and not really much came of that. An interference call was going to Tom Fair of Brampton in the corner as he forced number 14 of the Bellies, Paul Del Monte, who you see on the left of your screen, up into the boards. Del Monte took exception to it, and a couple of punches were thrown, but nothing terribly serious. Both players, I'm sure, will get 5 minutes. The teams will be playing at full strength. 9:03 remaining, 13-9 the score. And Brampton has been sneaking up on the Bellies. They had a big lead of 13-7 at one time. And Brampton have scored, as I said, the last couple of goals. And they're right back into the ballgame. Both Del Monte and Tommy Fair getting minors and majors, high-sticking penalties and fighting penalties. But nevertheless, both teams will play at full strength. Bud, back to you.
Players penalized simultaneously, and the teams playing 6 men aside. Ken Sim controlling that face-off, and this was the key to the Bellies' run early in the second period and late in the first period as they consistently controlled the face-off. Corey Carlisle. Number 99 is Barry Paulus taking a rough ride as he rolled around the outside. Bellies fighting hard for that loose ball in front of the crease. Interference against the Bellies. Brampton Excelsior start away. Sanderson. Terry Sanderson on the other side now. Tom Patrick driving hard. Rolled around to check. Shot off the upright. Face off in the Salmon Belly zone to goaltender Rod Bannister's left as that ball took a sharp bounce off the wooden floor here in Queen's Park Arena. Bounced off the upright into the crowd. New Westminster Salmon Bellies 13, Brampton Excelsiors 9. Loose ball scooped up off the face-off alertly by Lyle Robinson. Derek Dixon took a hard crack across the leg as he alertly broke out of his own zone. Lyle Robinson in all alone, saved by Marook. A lot of hustle by Jeff Gill, racing back there to pick up that loose ball on the rebound. Gill back into the attacking zone. Pass intercepted, a race up the floor now. Peter Guerin twisting at the crease, interference called against the Salmon Bellies. Peter Guerin always dangerous on offense.
Certainly is, Bud, and just prior to that we saw Lyle Robinson get a couple of good scoring opportunities. One, Barry Marook made the big save, and then just on the buzzer, he's checked away from the ball. Brampton take over. And there's Rod Bannister's first real test of the game, a long shot from the stick of Steve Mastine, stopped by Bannister on that right shoulder.
Brampton Excelsiors back to the attack. Ken Archdeacon shooting on the outside, a little wide. Another shot up the upright, off the upright as Excelsiors hit the post twice up the floor. Saved by Bannister. John Kurgovich. Excelsiors. Hard shot, right on, saved by Bannister as Peter Guerin fired that outside shot. Marook up the floor. Now we're seeing Marook at his best. Just what we were saying at the break, Dave, the Brampton Excelsiors are coming back with new life. There's no question about that.
They certainly are, and I'm sure that break did them an awful lot of good, but they're just monopolizing play now. But for a little bit of better shooting, they could be right back in this ball game. Big save there by Bannister.
Eric Callison starting out of his own end. Got an injured player, number 4, Jim Lockhart, got run over as the Bellies were breaking out of their own end.
We look at Jimmy Lockhurst on the floor with the Brampton trainer, and I hate to say it, but he sort of asked for that as Callison coming off the floor barged into him. Certainly no foul or no infraction, but the way Lockhurst fell, it looks like he's perhaps holding his shoulder or his upper body somewhere. And this could be quite a blow to young Jimmy Lockhurst, as Jimmy Lockhurst is on his way as soon as this series is over to the St. Louis Blues training camp of the National Hockey League. Jimmy Lockhurst, a goaltender in the National Hockey League, or in the St. Louis Blues chain. And we're certainly be hoping that he's not seriously injured.
Dave, the series has been remarkably free of injuries to this time, and as you say, we certainly hope that Lockhurst is up on his feet. He's moving now and standing up. He obviously did take a hit in the collarbone area, and we'll hope that it's nothing serious. Referees indicate it's Brampton's ball. Correction, Salmon Bellies ball.
Looks like Jimmy Lockhurst is okay, Bud, and we had a look at the New Westminster fans here. They look very concerned about the injury. We heard the chorus of boos coming down, but we did see a lot of the fans very concerned about the injured player. But I'm sure Jimmy Lockhurst will be all right.
Salmon Bellies go to the attack. Mark Tura right in, saved by Marook. Tura went through the crease to chase down his own rebound. The ball goes over to the Excelsiors. 5:52 remaining in the second period. Tom Patrick moving back into his attacking zone. Patrick, interference. Referee Jim Maitland decided to send both players, the Brampton Excelsiors number 9, Bram Wilfong, and number 22, Mark Tura. And of course, Bram Wilfong, brother of our New Westminster Salmon Belly coach Dave Wilfong, and a 10-year veteran with the Brampton Excelsiors. And Bram hasn't had too much action in this series as he just got going with the team late in the season and has a hard time catching the conditioning. As a matter of fact, Bram is one of the Excelsiors that's saying maybe it's retirement time. Back to the action. Beautiful shot in there as Dave Durante took a three-way passing play and a great save by Marook. Excelsiors back to the attack. Terry Sanderson. Sanderson being checked in there by Durante. Sanderson, a hard shot, bounced it off the floor and into the crowd. Salmon Belly's Eric Callison starts away as they get a line change. Derek Dixon down the left-hand side. Dixon moving in on Tommy Patrick. All the way in. Shot intercepted by Patrick, and again the Excelsiors start away, and they get a line change. Both teams changing quickly now as the heat and the activity starting to take a toll. Shot right on. Ken Archdeacon shooting from the outside, off balance. Marty Cooper now takes a hard check. Corey Carlisle always giving that little extra. Pinned his man after the ball had dropped loose. Excelsiors now retain control. 30 seconds on the shot clock. Steve Mastine. Loose ball. And away they go. Oyam dribbled the ball around his check. Bounced it again. Brampton hustling back. Colin Peterson recovered that loose ball. Peterson just jogging straight back up the center of the floor. Checked by Oyam. Moves to his right. Little wiggle. Shot right on. Saved by Bannister, and the Bellies break out hard. Derek Dixon. Scores! Dixon stayed with the bouncing ball as they mishandled the pass. Stayed with it, got the shot away, and drove it off goaltender Marook's shoulder pad.
A nice bit of second effort there by Dixon as he took the pass from Sim on a 3-on-1 break against Kenny Archdeacon. As you see Dixon being congratulated by his teammates and the executive and some of the fans around the New Westminster bench. But as I was saying, Dixon mishandled the pass originally, dropped it in his feet. Nobody seemed to know exactly where it was, but finally Derek Dixon picked it up, threw it into that top left-hand corner for his third goal of the evening. Derek Dixon, 3:42 remaining, and it's now 14-9 New Westminster.
Teams playing 5 men aside. Brampton Excelsiors controlling the face-off at center. Jim Lockhurst back into the attacking zone. Dave Pirog. Gord Lyons around the outside. Lyons chased his own rebound down. Goaltender Rod Bannister saw Barry Marook moving up to pick up Steve Manning on the long fast break pass and alertly fired the ball at the empty goal. He tried that lob shot and just missed on the left by about 2 feet.
But this game has had everything, believe me. Goaltenders went up the floor, down the floor, now they're shooting on goal. 14-9 ball game, lots of scoring, great game for the fans.
Brampton Excelsiors moving into the attack. Jim Weller driving hard around his check, shot just wide. Rebound flagged down in there by Jimmy Lockhurst. Lockhurst around the outside. Jim Weller driving hard. Knocked to the floor. Lyle Robinson breaking out. Mark Tura in for a hard shot. Loose ball at the boards. Brampton control. Fast break. Jimmy Weller in all alone. Saved by Roddy Bannister. Bannister stood his ground and got his shoulder in front of that one.
And Roddy Bannister's biggest test of the game, and that's the kind of saves that Bannister's been coming up with throughout the WLA playoffs and throughout this Mann Cup. Not that busy, as I mentioned earlier, but when they need the big save, he's been coming up with them.
Tommy Patrick just waiting for the rest of his teammates to get in a position. Rolls to his right. Broke in alone right at the dotted line. Good save. Another save by Bannister as he got a stick in front of the rebound. Patrick hustling that loose ball after 2 good shots. Rolled around a check again right at the dotted line. Shot right on. Saved by Bannister. Outlet pass. Number 13, Wayne Goss. Moving in with Lavoie. Lavoie scores! Dennis Lavoie driving hard by the goal at an impossible angle. right side.
And with 1:26 remaining, it's now 15-9. But perhaps more importantly, number 13, veteran Wayne Goss, now 2 points away from the all-time Mann Cup scoring record held by ex-teammate Paul Parnell. And just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, that we will be talking, or at least Fred Olsen will be talking with the current point-scoring holder, Paul Parnell, between periods. But it was Rod Bannister who set that play up. 2 great saves, then dumping the long pass up to Goss and hit Lavoie, and Lavoie put it away.
Eric Callison rolled around a check right at the dotted line, moves in, saved by Marook. No goal! Salmon Bellies in the crease. 15-9 with 1 minute remaining in the second period. Brampton Excelsiors moving back to the attack. Steve Mastine. Salmon Bellies control, the outlet pass, Lavoie again on the short side, blocked by Marook. Bellies score!
Denny Lavoie getting credit for the goal. It certainly looked from our vantage point that it didn't go in, but referee Jimmy Maitland right on the play. I guess, but it must have gone off of Maitland's shoulder and into that top corner. But we have a look at Barry Marook, and to be quite honest with you, I'm sure Barry Marook feels about the same way we do right now, Bud, because I have no idea how that ball got into the net. But as we mentioned, Jimmy Maitland, the referee, had a great angle on it. He had a good look at it, and either way, it's a 16-9 ball game. Denny Lavoie's second consecutive goal.
Dave, we certainly can't fault the referees if they missed the odd one, because even from our vantage point up here, we couldn't be sure about that one. Salmon Bellies back to the attack. 33 seconds remaining in the second period. Marook caught that straight pass in his hand, starts out of his own crease. 20 seconds remaining in the period. Bobby Burke shooting from the outside. Race for the loose ball in the corner. Lavoie. He can dangle, moving hard. Ball checked loose. Jim Weller looking up the floor for Jim Lockhurst. And that's at the bell. End of period number 2. And please stay with us for a brief wrap-up here with Dave Evans and an interview with Paul Parnell.
And just a very quick wrap-up, and it will be a quick one with the number of goals we've had scored. New Westminster Salmon Bellies, as you hear the response of the fans, I think what they're a little bit irate about is the Brampton player taking a shot after the buzzer or just as the buzzer had gone. And now we hear the response, a tremendous response, tremendous round of applause from the Salmon Bellies. As I started to say, New Westminster outscored Brampton 7-4 in that second period. John Kurgovich, Kenny Sim, Denny Lavoie with 2 goals, Derek Dixon, Wayne Goss, and Eric Callison scoring for the Bellies. For Brampton, it was Steve Mastine, Terry Sanderson, Jim Weller, and Jimmy Locker scoring. So at the end of the second period, it's the New Westminster Salmon Bellies 16, Brampton Excelsiors 9.
Back to the Mann Cup action, period number 3, game number 4. New Westminster Salmon Bellies leading in the series 3-0, leading in the game 16-9. Brampton control and start away with a hard shot. Into the crowd, Salmon Bellies start out. Wayne Goss, 2 points away from that all-time Mann Cup scoring championship. Goss into the attacking zone. Salmon Bellies moving the ball around, controlled by Brampton.
Brampton, both players having a little bit of trouble getting the loose ball. Finally, Bobby Burke recovers for Brampton. And as we mentioned in that second period, I'm sure we'll see an awful lot of Wayne Goss. But here's the response to Jimmy Lockhurst. It was Lockhurst who took that shot right at the final buzzer, or just after the buzzer actually. And of course, you heard the response from the New Westminster fans here. As we were saying, Wayne Goss, I'm sure we'll see an awful lot of floor time in this third period, as I'm sure Coach Casey Cook would love to get that all-time Mann Cup scoring record for him.
Now Salmon Bellies get a line change and start away. Number 12, Jeff Gill from the North Shore Indians. Dave Durante jogging into the attacking zone down the left-hand boards. Eric Callison shot right on, saved by Marook. Tommy Patrick Moving in for the white-shirted Brampton Excelsiors. Takes a hard check, almost lifted off his feet in there. Twisting and turning, rolling around a check from Ray Durante. Straight pass, gobbled up by brother Dave Durante, and Salmon Bellies start out fast. Eric Cowison. Cowison rolling around the block. Give and go, backhand shot by Durante, saved by Marook. Rebound gobbled up by Barry Richardson.
And we noticed, Bud, that Coach Casey Cook of the New Westminster Salmon Bellies still going with those quick line changes. He wants those fresh troops out there, not taking any chances at all. Even though they've got a 7-goal lead early in the third period, they're taking no chances whatsoever. They still want to keep those fresh legs out there on the floor.
Marty Cooper moving in, taking a rough ride from Ray Durante. Quick shot. Colin Patterson shooting just high and wide. Dave Durante working out of his own end as the Salmon Bellies get another line change. Paul Del Monte on the floor with Corey Carlisle, Derek Dixon, Ken Sim, number 21, Terry Oyam. Salmon Bellies with the ball in the attacking zone. Drop pass in there, and Ken Archdeacon starts out for Brampton. That pass intercepted. Salmon Bellies back to the attack. 16-9, 17 minutes remaining in the game. Hard shot, right on, saved by Marook. Outlet pass, and the Brampton Excelsiors start away. Jim Weller, big, powerful left-handed shooter. Weller moving right into the crease, and he was tackled as he went in there by Terry Oyam. Salmon Bellies start away. Paul Del Monte. Now John Kurgovich.
Westminster once again making that fast line change, but a nice move there by Jimmy Weller earlier. He's got 4 goals already. He's looking for more. Kurgovich gets his second goal of the game. Once again, John Kurgovich treading that thin line of the goal crease. Took the pass. As now we see the 2 number 4s, Jimmy Lockhurst and Lyle Robinson squaring off. Nothing much will come of that though, as the referees and teammates get in between the 2 players right away. As I was saying, John Kurgovich took the long pass from Del Monte, put it over the left shoulder of Barry Marook. It's now 17-9, 16:27 remaining, third period.
Dave, John Kurgovich was a little late getting started this year because of job commitments, and it always takes a little while to round into shape when the rest of your teammates have got that half-step head start on you. But he's showing why he was an outstanding junior and also has been such an asset to the Salmon Bellies in the senior ranks. As for a big man, he is extremely quick with his stick around that crease, and he doesn't wind up with that big shot. He gets away the quick wrist shot from up high and uses that angle to score on these goaltenders.
Exactly, but fans of the New Westminster Salmon Bellies in the late 60s and, well, I guess the late 60s, because remember Mac Tyler. And John Kurgovich reminds me a little bit of Mac Tyler, the long, lanky, gangly type, but very, very good with his stick. Very quick release and just dynamite in around that goal crease. As we've seen here tonight, 2 goals, both from in close, and another goal from the same area, called back for a crease infraction. A penalty on that play. Lyle Robinson getting the only play, so we now see Brampton on the power play.
Brampton around the outside. Ball lost in the center. Ray Durante. Eric Cowison in the attacking zone. Lobbed the ball to Wayne Goss deep in the corner. Goss being chased in there by 2 Brampton Excelsiors. The ball deflected off a Salmon Belly into the crowd. Brampton again get their odd man play out there, playing 6 men against 5. Number 8 is Steve Mastine. He's the starter, along with number 5, Terry Sanderson. Hard shot right on by Bram Wilfong, shooting from the outside. He's the right-handed shooter. Salmon Bellies hustling hard. Number 22, Mark Tura, came up with that loose ball. Wayne Goss taking a hard check. Cutting in front of the goal. Changed hands. Shot right on. Saved by Marook.
Beautiful play there. Beautiful play. Excuse me, but beautiful play there by Wayne Goss. Switched hands and actually shot with one hand from right on top of the crease. But Barry Marook, pardon me, came up with a big save, and it's still 17-9. But on the interference call, it's a New Westminster ball.
Terry Oyam, big powerful runner up from the junior New Westminster Salmon Bellies. He is a pickup for this series. Backhand pass in front, chased down by Oyam. Oyam retained control. Shot right on! Wayne Goss, number 13, scored on the pass from behind the goal.
And Wayne Goss, a tremendous veteran captain of the New Westminster Salmon Bellies, scored 18th goal, 14:38 remaining. A shorthanded goal. You see Wayne Goss getting a tremendous ovation from the New Westminster fans. He is 1 point, one single point away now from the all-time Mann Cup scoring record. New Westminster Salmon Bellies will be shorthanded for another 11 seconds. But the story now for the balance of this game, Bud, has got to be, can Wayne Goss do it? Can he set that all-time scoring record?
Salmon Bellies scrambling hard, retain control in the attacking zone. Teams all even. 14:22 remaining in the third period with the Bellies leading 18-9. They've doubled the score on the Brampton Excelsiors here in game number 4. Robinson in and he scores! Salmon Bellies, Lyle Robinson taking that beautiful pass up over the shoulder, moved in and fired the high, hard one in the top left-hand corner.
And it's 19-9, a 10-goal lead. As you look at the New Westminster fans looking on as their team, certainly I would think it's safe to say well on their way to a Mann Cup championship, but they're playing with tremendous confidence. Everybody playing with great confidence. And as opposed to the Brampton players, who I think have got to be a little bit dejected now. They're right out of this ball game now. I'm sure they won't quit trying. They're tremendous athletes. They certainly won't give up. But it's going to be a very, very difficult road for them now to come back.
Corey Carlisle straight up the center, gives a little wiggle, moved in alone, shot just wide. Corey Carlisle seems to have the ability to go to the goal just whenever he wants to, Dave. He breaks in alone again. Put the goaltender down, did a whirling dervish act around the outside. Now he's got his man one-on-one in the corner. Number 17, Jim Weller. 20 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Salmon Bellies chase down the straight pass. Ken Sim. Interference against the Bellies. Number 17, Derek Dixon. The white-shirted Brampton Excelsiors start away. 13:20 remaining in the third period. Game number 4. This is your Mann Cup Lacrosse Championship, emblematic of the Canadian Senior A Championship. Best in the East against the best in the West. Barry Richardson twisting and turning at the dotted line. Double teamed in there. Bellies control. Bellies break out fast. Ken Sim. Backhand pass, shot just wide as Derek Dixon, who started that all off, went right to the crease. Just missed on the shot. Excelsior start away. Barry Richardson down the left-hand side. Hard shoulder check in there by Kenny Sim, knocked the ball loose. Sim came up with a loose ball. And Salmon Bellies playing tough all over the floor.
And you know, but although the score is one-sided now with 12:32 remaining, we've seen some tremendous, exciting lacrosse. Just moments ago, perhaps you heard the response of the crowd here as they had the announcement that Wayne Goss has tied Paul Parnell's all-time Mann Cup scoring record. Wayne Goss has the ball now. He'll be looking to set that new Mann Cup scoring record. But
back to the action. Excelsiors intercept that pass and start away. The crowd exhorting the Salmon Bellies on, in particular Wayne Goss, to go for that next point, assist or a goal. Excelsiors into the attacking zone. Steve Mastine, Mike O'Brien, hard shot, right on, off the goal post. Rebound, alertly picked off by Lyle Robinson. Salmon Bellies back to the attack. Steve Manning. Backhand shot, right on. Quick pass up the floor, Marook. Hit Peter Guerin all alone. Save in there by Roddy Bannister. Salmon Bellies get the line change. Number 10, Dave Durante. beautiful goal. Eric Collison moving in, moved around the block by Durante, went in all alone and picked the top right-hand corner for goal number 20.
And the key to that goal, Bud, the block set by Dave Durante, tied up both the Brooklyn defenders. I didn't catch both of them, was to see 11:06 remaining in the third period, and likely the ball game. 20-9 the score. As I was saying, Dave Durante set the block, a nice stationary pick, tied up both Brampton defenders, and we're going to have a change in goaltenders for the Brampton Excelsiors, as Randy Tollefson will be taking over in goal for the beleaguered Barry Marook. And Barry Marook, as you see him walking off the floor now, has had really a pretty good series. The score tonight doesn't indicate the tremendous play of Barry Marook. He's excited the fans with his fast breakout passes, his roaming out of the net, and has made some very good saves over this series, Bud.
You know, Dave, 20 years from now, you won't remember who won or lost, really, but only who played in the games. And I know this is a big thrill for Randy Tollefson to get in the game, and especially if he gets in there and makes a couple of saves. Just to be in the Mann Cup action is a thrill all by itself. And you know, the lacrosse players really have a community of their own. I know that whenever I meet them, former teammates or former opponents, east and west, you always have that common bond, and especially the fellas that have gone all the way and played in these Mann Cups. There's always something special. There's a certain magic about it, and I'm glad to see Randy Tollefson get a chance to get in the pipes there and show us his stuff.
Yes, I agree, Bud, and very much the same as Casey Cook used Reg Forster for the first half of this game, as we see Randy Tollefson adjusting his equipment in the the Brampton crease. As you say, it's a tremendous thrill for any player, win or lose, to play in a Mann Cup. And as I say, win or lose, it takes an awful lot of effort just to get this far. And both teams should be commended for the tremendous effort and the tremendous show they put on, particularly this evening.
Seven Bellies racing back to the attack. 11 minutes remaining. Quick play in there, 16. Ivan Tura driving hard. Got in the crease. The ball goes over to the Excelsiors. Excelsior start up the floor. Jimmy Lockhurst. Number 17, Jim Weller. Little wiggle, shot wide. Back to the action now. Bellies driving hard down the center. Shot right on, and again, Randy Tollefson made that good save as he got down in front of that hard shot. Dave Durante in the crease. Dave feeding Brother Ray right on the crease.
And Randy Tollefson, a tremendous save early as he went down, got his leg pads on that shot. And 20 years from now, he's going to remember that save. His first real big save, his first real big test in Mann Cup action. Tremendous throw for this young fella, just out of the Junior B ranks from Oakville, Ontario.
Salmon Bellies, Lavoie, quickly into the attacking zone, rolled around a check, back again on the other side. Lavoie twisting and turning, he's squirming his way into the dotted line, moved in all alone, and he scores! Denis Lavoie, he just will not give up when he's in that attacking zone. He knows where that goal is, and he's a natural goal scorer. Unorthodox shooter. He never gives up, and he kept rolling in there until he broke in the clear and put that ball in the bottom right-hand corner.
And two keys on that goal. First of all, when Denis Lavoie first received the pass in the face-off circle, rather than drag the ball into the corner, he held up, waited for the block to be set, and the second key on that goal, beautiful block set by Ivan Tura. I mentioned earlier Ivan Tura getting his first taste of Mann Cup action. As you hear the announcer on the goal in the background, Ivan Tura setting a great block. Denis Lavoie going around that block, cutting in, putting the ball low between Randy Tollefson's legs, and it's 21-9, and we're inside the 10-minute mark of the third period. Game 4, Mann Cup 81.
Winding down now, Salmon Bellies in control in the attacking zone. Excelsiors intercept that pass and start away. They get the quick line change. The legs feel like lead now when you're down by 12 goals late in the game, fourth game of the series. New Westminster, Queen's Park Arena, the scene of many great lacrosse battles over the years. That ball up through the rafters, cleared all the way down. Rush at center. Excelsior's control. Shot wide, and the ball goes over in the 30-second clock.
And you certainly can't knock young Pete Guerin for not trying to score. He's had 2 or 3 good chances, just can't seem to find the net. And it seems, as you mentioned, the score very one-sided now. Only 8:39 remaining in the third period. And the legs turn to lead. The stick just can't seem to find the net. It's when everything seems to start going wrong for the Brampton Excelsiors.
Barry Powell is shooting from the outside, and the rebound the length of the floor. Controlled there by goaltender Rod Bannister. 20, Ken Sims breaking out hard. Looking for Corey Carlisle, and here's the fast break. Number 20, Peter Guerin going in alone. Big fake, shot wide. Salmon Bellies start back. Number 13, Wayne Goss, just jogging in his own end. Starts down the right-hand boards. Along with number 12, Jeff Gill. Number 5, John Kurgovich. Gill.
I'm sure they'll be looking to Wayne Goss now. You can hear the rhythmic applause in the background. The fans exhorting Goss on. They want that scoring record for the veteran captain of the Bellies.
Wayne Goss trying the backhand pass across the crease, alertly picked off in there by the Brampton Excelsiors. Excelsiors just moving out of their own zone, moving the ball around. 7:30 remaining in the third period. Jim Weller, hard shot from outside, right on. Kurgovich. Bellies come out, 4-on-3. Number 8, Steve Manning hustling right down the center. Pass just a little wide. Wayne Goss in the corner now. Wayne Goss, empty goal! Wayne Goss firing at the empty goal. Alertly picked off by Dave Pyrock as he intercepted that pass from goaltender Randy Tollefson. Bob Burke on the outside. John Kurgovich. Bellies get that line change. Number 22, Mark Tura, straight up the center, along with Dave Durante, brother Ray Durante, Eric Callison. Excelsiors intercept again, number 7, Dave Pirog, playing very alertly in the late going here. Tom Patrick just walking out of his own end. Lindsey Sanderson. Sanderson checked by Dennis Lavoie. Trying to hit Bram Wilfong at the crease. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Shot off goaltender Rod Bannister. Salmon Bellies control and start away. Pass into the crowd, and the Brampton Excelsiors start away. Goaltender Randy Tollefson out of his own end. Tom Fair straight up the center. Save by Bannister. Another save by Bannister. Penalty called against the Salmon Bellies. Number 9, Ray Durante, as he got a cross-check on one of the Brampton Excelsior players from behind.
And it's interesting to note, Bud, that perhaps people have forgotten that Rod Bannister came into this game with the score 13-9 midway through the second period. It's now 21-9. Rod Bannister yet to be scored on in this game, and he's made some very good saves. Although great circumstances for a goaltender to be playing under now. Not much pressure, a tremendous lead. He's playing with an awful lot of confidence, and right, and justifiably so.
Dave Evans, shame on you. You'll be drummed out of the goaltenders fraternity for mentioning shutouts. You know what's going to happen. Immediately they'll come up the floor and dribble one in. Back to the action. Brampton Excelsior. Sanderson on the outside. Well, they certainly had the chance there as number 3, Colin Patterson, hit the empty net. Beautiful goal! Eric Callison! Right back at the other end. Fake 3 times. Put the ball in the top right-hand corner.
And those legs of lead letting the Brampton Excelsiors down there as they were all stand up around center floor. Eric Callison just cruised in, had goaltender Randy Tollefson at his mercy, put a beautiful shot high to the left of goaltender Randy Tollefson. It's 22-9. Eric Callison's hat trick for the evening, and it's 4:58 remaining, 22-9. And I think we can safely say now, Bud, U.S. Mr. Salmon Bellies on their way to the Mann Cup Championship.
1981 Mann Cup champions. Brampton Excelsiors playing out the clock right to the end, all alone, and they score! Excelsiors move the ball around. Number 5, Sanderson. The Orangeville Senior A pickup, Terry Sanderson, put the ball in there behind Rod Bannister, and that's the first goal they've scored on Bannister since he came into the game.
And I guess I owe Rod an apology there. I made the mistake, as you mentioned, of talking shutout up here in the booth. And on the power play, Terry Sanderson, the first goal, as you mentioned, Bud, behind Rod Bannister. Excelsior's 10th goal in total for the game. It's now 22-10, and Wayne Goss is back on the floor. Bud, over to you.
Bellies to the attack. Interference. Bellies will retain control in the attacking zone. They'll get another 30 seconds on the shot clock. Wayne Goss out there along with Paul Del Monte, Barry Powlis. Goss with the ball, working around the outside. Hard shot. Rebound controlled at the other end by Rod Bannister. Long pass up the floor. Bellies moving in. Goss driving hard down the center. Bellies retain control. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Goss all alone, shot just wide. Bellies retain control. They got another 30 seconds on that shot clock. Goss with the ball. Obviously, the Salmon Bellies moving the ball to Wayne Goss now, trying for that tie-breaking point. Around the outside, Paul Del Monte. Hard shot, right on. Saved by Randy Tollefson. 3:34 remaining in the game. Excelsior's control. Mann Cup Senior A Canadian Championship lacrosse action from New Westminster's Queen's Park Arena.
And just interesting to note, Bud, that Wayne Goss just went off the floor, replaced by Eric Cowliston. I'm sure as soon as New Westminster gets possession, you'll see Wayne Goss back on the floor again.
Another save by Rod Bannister, moving right out to the edge of his crease, cutting down that angle. Peter Guerin, hard move. Rebound, pulled down by the Salmon Bellies, and they start away another line change. 2:50 remaining in the game. Ray Durante, John Kurgovich, Wayne Goss. Goss working hard away from the ball. Derek Dixon. Dixon driving hard right at the dotted line. Shot about 3 yards wide. And the ball goes over on the 30-second shot clock.
Once again, Wayne Goss heading to the bench. This time it's number 12, Jeff Gill, coming on. And again, I'm sure you'll see Goss right back on the floor as soon as New Westminster get possession.
Brampton Excelsior is just working out the clock. They've given it a real good shot here. And although the series is 4-0, the first game, Brampton were in it right till the 4th minute mark. The second game, they were in it till late in the game. The third game, they were way ahead and let Salmon Bellies off the hook. Pass intercepted. Salmon Bellies control. Steve Manning. Goss! Save in there by Randy Tollefson as Wayne Goss moved in all alone, had a perfect shot and a good save. 1:57 seconds remaining in the game. 22-10, Salmon Bellies leading. Brampton Excelsiors, pass knockdown. Brampton retained control. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Tom Patrick just jogging around with the ball. Lindsey Sanderson. Shot right on. Bellies control. Ray Durante starts out of his own end. Salmon Bellies Wayne Goss. He's picked up in there immediately by Tom Patrick. Patrick's not going to give Goss a free shot or a free pass in here. He's going to have to work for everything he gets. Fired that ball off the upright. Salmon Bellies back to the attack. Interference against the Salmon Bellies, and Brampton start away with 1:09 remaining. Yeah, try and get them all. You guys are going to work down on the floor. Both of you. Brampton Excelsiors back to the attack. 57 seconds remaining in the third period. Fans, please stay with us at the end of the game. Breakaway! Mark Tura, beautiful goal! Mark Tura intercepted that pass, went the length of the floor and picked the top right-hand corner.
And Jeff Gill, his first Mann Cup goal, a pickup from the North Shore Senior B team. 46 seconds remaining. And once again, as you see Gill going to the box, 46 seconds remaining. Once again, Wayne Goss, Buddy's got 46 seconds to set that record. He'll be taking the face-off, and if I was in Wayne Goss's shoes, I wouldn't want a better player taking that face-off than Wayne Goss.
That's right, Dave, and thanks for picking me up on that. That was Jeff Gill that made that terrific play, intercepting that pass and going the length of the floor. Goss with the ball off the face-off. Durante up the floor. Number 22, Tura, shot right on, and saved by Tollefson. Race for the ball in the corner. Loose ball, Salmon Belly scrambling. Brampton Excelsiors come up with the ball. 28 seconds remaining in the game. Seconds remaining in the game. Stay with us, fans. Dave Evans, Fred Olson will be downstairs. Goss with the ball. 11 seconds, 10 seconds. Terry Oyam at the dotted line. Score! 6 seconds! Wayne Goss sets a new Mann Cup scoring record as they alertly picked up that loose ball. Then Terry Oyam drove into the dotted line and put the ball in the top right-hand corner.
And Bud, you can hear the response here at Queen's Park Arena as the Westminster Seminoles mobbing Wayne Goss. Very emotional moment as Wayne Goss. 6 seconds remaining in the 1981 Mann Cup. And Wayne Goss, as you see a standing ovation. Wayne Goss has set a new Mann Cup scoring record. A tremendous standing ovation for Wayne Goss.
Last year we saw Wayne Goss go down with a hit in the back, and we thought his career was finished. Not to be outdone. Had an operation in the off-season, came back, worked himself into shape. Here he is, leading the Salmon Bellies to the Mann Cup Canadian Senior A Lacrosse Championship.
5 seconds remaining. Westminster in possession. They dump the ball back to Rob Bannister, and back there it is.
It's all over. Salmon Bellies are the winner. Lacrosse fans, please stay with us. We're going to go down on the floor with Dave Evans, Fred Olson for the closing ceremonies.
Dave Evans and Fred Olson here at floor level. As we hear the fans in the background, goaltender Rod Bannister on the floor leading the chant. We're number one, and the New Westminster Salmon Bellies certainly are just that. And now, the hero of the piece, Wayne Goss, standing here with me. Wayne, tremendous effort. I almost hate to admit it, but up in the broadcast booth, I was damn near in tears when you got that final point. 6 seconds remaining. Let's turn around and get on camera, if we can find it. With me, Wayne Goss. And you can hear the response. Wayne, did you think you were going to do it with 10 seconds remaining?
I really thought that maybe I was going to miss it there after all, but those guys worked so hard for me. It's just fantastic. You'd say you were close to tears. I was in tears.
The big question. I just talking to Casey Cook. He mentioned retirement. Is this, I think all of us retire this time of the year. Is this for sure this time?
Yeah, definitely, Dave. That's it for me. I really love this game of lacrosse. I got a lot out of it, and what a way to go out with a bunch of guys like that.
Certainly, it's a tremendous effort by everybody, and by yourself in particular. And from myself, I know I played against you for the last 8 or 10 years and a few years in junior, and I'm very proud to have played against you, and a tremendous way for you to grow. Congratulations, Wayne.
Thanks again, Dave. Thank you very much.
Now presenting the silver medals. First of all, Brampton goalkeeper Barry Marook receiving his silver medal. And a tremendous effort by Barry Marook. He played well throughout the series. Randy Tollefson, essentially a backup goaltender, played well in his short time in that third period. Tommy Fair, a veteran of the Brampton team. Colin Patterson, still junior age, a tremendous future for Colin Patterson. I'm sure he'll be heard from in the future. And we hear the response for Jimmy Lockhurst, injured earlier in the game, but obviously 100% now. Terry Sanderson, a pickup from the Orangeville Senior B team, came out and played very well on short notice for the Excelsiors. Lindsey Sanderson, brother of Terry Sanderson, also a pickup from the Orangeville Senior Bs. I'm not on camera, man. Let me know if I ever am, because I'm facing the wrong way here. Was that when Wayne was on? Steve Mastine, veteran of the Brampton Excelsiors, receiving his medal. Now veteran Bram Wilfong, who we mentioned during the broadcast, the brother of Dave Wilfong, coach of the New Westminster Junior Salmon Bellies, and Bram Wilfong, the all-time leading scorer in Eastern lacrosse.
Number 12, Jim Coates.
Jim Coates, who didn't dress, of course, for tonight's game. Somebody had to sit out for this final game, and it was Jim Coates. Tom Patrick, captain of the Brampton Excelsiors, had a very strong series for the Excelsiors. Paul Weller, one of the injured ball players, hurt his knee early in the series, in the second game, as a matter of fact. Hasn't played since, and he'd be a big loss to the Brampton team. Brother Jim, top scorer for the Excelsiors, a 4-goal scorer tonight in this final game. Number 18, Ken Archdeacon, another veteran of the Brampton Excelsior Club.
Number 19, Mike O'Brien.
Mike O'Brien, another veteran player. And the Brampton Excelsiors, as we mentioned early, before the broadcast actually began, a mix of veteran and inexperienced players, a lot of veterans on this club. And I'm sure a lot of them will be thinking retirement after this series, but also a lot of good young ball players on this team. Goaltender Barry Marook, only 24. Colin Patterson, Jim Weller, Paul Weller. A very young team. Get in here, I'm running out of things to say.
Number 115, Barry Richardson.
Get your ass in here. Barry Richardson, number 115, receiving his medal from Boyd Berriger.
Brampton Excelsior coach, Mr. Paul Warden.
The coach of the Brampton Excelsiors, Paul Warden, doing a pretty fair job with this club under very trying circumstances, taking over for John McCauley, who couldn't make it out, of course, because of his commitments to Hockey Canada. Fred Olson here with me now. Fred, I think it's time just to do a little bit of guessing here. If we did have a vote, which of course we don't, who would your choice be for the Mike Kelly Award as the most valuable player?
Well, it looks to me like there could be a couple of choices. Roddy Bannister played very well in the early part of it, but I think there's no question about it that Wayne Goss had a mediocre season and a super playoff and a tremendous Mann Cup playoff series, including this last game. To pick up 6 points under the pressure that he was under, just the Mann Cup alone is enough pressure, never mind trying to crack all-time great Paul Parnell's record. In doing that, I think he's going to go home with a trophy as well.
I certainly agree with you, Fred, and it couldn't happen to a greater, more dedicated player. As we mentioned on the broadcast, serious back surgery last year, sat out virtually all of the 1980 season and the 1980 Mann Cup. He's come back. As you said, not a particularly good season for Wayne Goss, but a tremendous playoff and an even more outstanding Mann Cup under very, very trying circumstances. Excuse me, another fella I have to feel sorry for, although I suppose he got his own way into it, is veteran Steve Deasem. Steve Deasem, a former coach of the Salmon Bellies, doffed his coaching mantle, came back as a player last year, a tremendous leader for the Bellies, forced to sit out tonight for that unfortunate third man in, and you've got to feel sorry for Stevie Deasem.
You really do. Stevie's a real competitor. He plays hard all the time. He gives 150%. And for Stevie to sit out tonight, it took an awful lot. I noticed him in between periods. He was in the tunnel, pacing back and forth. He couldn't go up in the stands and sit down and watch the game. He's really taking this hard. Some of the other players out there that played well, Paul Del Monte, the Burnaby graduate, number 14, a super series. Eric Cowison, another defensive stalwart with the Salmon Bellies, coming up with a super game tonight, coming up with a tremendous playoff. The Salmon Bellies are loaded with talent, and they came to play in the Mann Cup.
They certainly did, and somebody, Bud and I mentioned, and we talked an awful lot about him tonight during the broadcast, but I think if you're talking unsung heroes, well, here's one of them receiving his medal now, young Denny Louvois. For the player, I think, the outstanding player in tonight's game, not so much for the goals he scored, but just for the havoc he created everywhere he went. Corey Carlisle, quite a story, young Corey Carlisle.
let me tell you, there's Mr. Inspirational, number 77, Corey Carlisle. Just a tremendous inspirational player. He gets this team going. All season he's carried the team when they were down. He sparks them the minute he runs on the floor. You can see that energy just pouring out of him. He's just one whale of an athlete, and like you say, I agree with 100%. He is just a real unsung hero.
And there's the response now as Corey Carlisle receiving his Mann Cup medal. And you heard before Corey Carlisle a tremendous ovation for veteran Steve Deasem, who we were just talking about. Another young man receiving his medal now, Barry Paulus. And now Casey Cook, who I think, if he doesn't win the WLA's Coach of the Year award, I think there should be some kind of an investigation. Took over a very troubled New Westminster Salmon Bellies team approximately midway through the season, led them to upset victories over both the Vancouver Burrards and the Coquitlam Adanacs, tremendous upset over the Adanacs in a great series, and now has led them to a Mann Cup in his first half season behind the bench. A great job done by GM and coach Casey Cook. And now Keith McEachran will make the presentation of the Mike Kelly Award. And I guess we're batting 1,000. We can let the response from the stands here tell the story as Wayne Goss, his last game as an active senior A lacrosse player, receiving the Mike Kelly Award as the most valuable player in the Mann Cup, and a tremendous and fitting way to have Wayne Goss go into retirement. Fred?
It's absolutely fantastic. Most of the lacrosse people that were here at the Mann Cup that have seen all 4 games have seen Wayne play as well as he played 4 or 5 years ago before his back injury of last year while he sat out. This is a tremendous feat for an athlete who sat out last year with a very serious back injury to come back, to get fit, to play the way he's played in these finals and semifinals. Absolutely deserving.
And now we'll have the presentation of the Mann Cup. And of course, that'll be accepted by team captain Wayne Goss again. Jack Fulton now announcing Ab Brown, a Hall of Fame member, a very popular figure here in New Westminster, been around for many, many years. As we see the captains, Wayne Goss, Eric Cowison, and Steve Deasem, going forward to receive the Mann Cup. Ab Brown presenting the trophy to Wayne Goss, and I'm sure we'll see the New Westminster Salmon Bellies have a victory lap around venerable Queen's Park Arena with the coveted Mann Cup. There's the presentation, the Mann Cup being held up for the benefit of the photographers on hand. Steve Deasem, Wayne Goss holding up the trophy as Wayne Goss goes out on the shoulders of his teammates. A tremendous display, a very emotional moment for the New Westminster Salmon Bellies, for Wayne Goss, and for lacrosse fans in the city of New Westminster. As the Bellies make their traditional victory lap, all signaling we're number 1. And at this time they certainly are, and nobody will question it. Once again, Wayne Goss, the new all-time scoring champion in Mann Cup history, playing his last game of senior A lacrosse, going out on the shoulders of his New Westminster Salmon Belly teammates. You can hear the chants in the background of the New Westminster fans chanting "We're number 1" as the Bellies leave for their dressing room with the coveted Mann Cup safely in hand. And I'm sure there'll be quite a few New Westminster Salmon Bellies in late to work. So now from New Westminster, it's Queen's Park Arena. This is Dave Evans signing off from Mann Cup 81. It's been a pleasure to bring the games to you. Now signing off for Fred Olson, Dan Russell, and Bud Groves. Good night from New Westminster.